officers it has. 40 at least there are, and they do a fine lot of knocking about the town and drinking. In particular, Staff Captain Potsuluev is a splendid fellow. You should see his mustache. Why, he calls good claret trash. Bring me some of the usual trash, is his way of ordering it. And Lieutenant Kuvshinikov, too, he is as delightful as the other man. In fact, I may say that every one of the lot is a rake. I spent my whole time with them, and you can imagine that Ponomarev, the wine merchant, did a fine trade indeed. All the same, he is a rascal, you know, and ought not to be dealt with, for he puts all sorts of rubbish into his liquor. Indian wood and burnt cork and elderberry juice, the villain! Nevertheless, get him to produce a bottle from what he calls his special cellar, and you will fancy yourself in the seventh heaven of delight. And what quantities of champagne we drank! Compared with it, provincial stuff is kvass. Footnote 1. Try to imagine not merely Clicquot, but a blend of Clicquot and Matradura, Clicquot of double strength. Also, Ponomarev produced a bottle of French stuff which he calls bonbon. Had it a bouquet, ask you? Why, it had the bouquet of a rose garden, of anything else you like. What times we had, to be sure! Just after we had left Pomarev's place, some prince or other arrived in the town and sent out for some champagne, but not a bottle was there left, for the officers had drunk every one. Why, I myself got through 17 bottles at a sitting. Footnote 1. A liquor distilled from fermented bread crusts or sour fruit. Come, you can't have got through 17, remarked the flaxen-haired man. But I did, I give you my word of honor, retorted Nozdrev. Imagine what you like, but you didn't drink even 10 bottles at a sitting. Will you bet that I did not? No, for what would be the use of betting about it? Then at least wager the gun which you have bought. No, I am not going to do anything of the kind. Just an experiment? No. It is well for you that you don't, since otherwise you would have found yourself minus both gun and cap. However, friend Chichikov, it is a pity you were not there. Had you been there, I feel sure you would have found yourself unable to part with Lieutenant Kuvshinikov. You and he would have hit it off splendidly. You know, he is quite a different sort from the public prosecutor and our other provincial skinflints, fellows who shiver in their shoes before they will spend a single kopeck. He will play faro, or anything else, and at any time. Why did you not come with us instead of wasting your time on cattle breeding or something of the sort? But never mind. Embrace me. I like you immensely. Mizhev, see how curiously things have turned out? Chichikov has nothing to do with me, or I with him. Yet here is he, come from God knows where, and landed in the very spot where I happen to be living. I may tell you that no matter how many carriages I possessed, I should gamble the lot away. Recently I went in for a turn at billiards and lost 2 jars of pomade, a china teapot, and a guitar. Then I staked some more things, and, like a fool, lost them all, and 6 roubles in addition. What a dog is that Kuvshinikov! He and I attended nearly every ball in the place. In particular, there was a woman, décolletée, and such a swell! I merely thought to myself, the devil take her. But Kuvshinikov is such a swag that he sat down beside her and began paying her strings of compliments in French. However, I did not neglect the damsels altogether, although he calls that sort of thing going in for strawberries. By the way, I have a splendid piece of fish and some caviar with me. 'Tis all I have brought back. In fact, it's a lucky chance that I happened to buy the stuff before my money was gone. Where are you for? I am about to call on a friend. On what friend? Let him go to the devil and come to my place instead. I cannot. I have business to do. Oh, business again! I thought so. But I have business to do, and pressing business at that. I wager that you're lying. If not, tell me whom you're going to call upon. Upon Sobakevitch. Instantly Nozdrev burst into a laugh compassable only by a healthy man in whose head every tooth still remains as white as sugar. By this I mean the laugh of quivering cheeks, the laugh which causes a neighbour who is sleeping behind double doors 3 rooms away to leap from his bed and exclaim with distended eyes, "Hullo! Something has upset him!" "What is there to laugh at?" asked Chichikov, a trifle nettled. But Nozdrev laughed more unrestrainedly than ever, ejaculating, "Oh, spare us all! The thing is so amusing that I shall die of it." "I say that there is nothing to laugh at," repeated Chichikov. "It is in fulfilment of a promise that I am on my way to Sobokevich's." "Then you will scarcely be glad to be alive when you have got there, for he is the veriest miser in the countryside." "Oh, I know you. However, if you think to find there either faro or a bottle of bonbon, you are mistaken. Look here, my good friend, let Sobakevitch go to the devil and come to my place, where at least I shall have a piece of sturgeon to offer you for dinner. Ponomarev said to me on parting, 'This piece is just the thing for you. Even if you were to search the whole market, you would never find a better one.' But of course he is a terrible rogue. I said to him outright, 'You and the collector of taxes are the 2 greatest skinflints in the town.' But he only stroked his beard and smiled. Every day I used to breakfast with Kuvshinikov in his restaurant. Well, what I was nearly forgetting is this, that, though I am aware that you can't forgo your engagement, I am not going to give you up. No, not for 10,000 roubles of money. I tell you that in advance." Here he broke off to run to the window and shout to his servant, who was holding a knife in one hand and a crust of bread and a piece of sturgeon in the other. He had contrived to filch the latter while fumbling in the britchka for something else. "Hi, Porfiri! Bring here that puppy, you rascal! What a puppy it is! Unfortunately, that thief of a landlord has given it nothing to eat, even though I have promised him the roan filly, which, as you may remember, I swapped from Kovastirev." As a matter of fact, Chichikov had never in his life seen either Kovastirev or the roan filly. "Baron, do you wish for anything to eat?" inquired the landlady as she entered. "No, nothing at all." "Ah, friend Chichikov, what times we had! Yes, give me a glass of vodka, old woman. What sort do you keep?" "Aniseed. Then bring me a glass of it," repeated Nozdrev. "And one for me as well," added the flaxen-haired man. "At the theatre," went on Nozdrev, "there was an actress who sang like a canary. Kuvshinikov, who happened to be sitting with me, said, 'My boy, you had better go and gather that strawberry.' As for the booths at the fair, they numbered, I should say, 50. At this point he broke off to take the glass of vodka from the landlady, who bowed low in acknowledgment of his doing so. At the same moment Porfiri, a fellow dressed like his master, that is to say, in a greasy wadded overcoat, entered with the puppy. "Put the brute down here," commanded Nozdrev, "and then fasten it up." Porfiri deposited the animal upon the floor, whereupon it proceeded to act in the manner of dogs. "There's a puppy for you!" cried Nozdrev, catching hold of it by the back and lifting it up. The puppy uttered a piteous yelp. "I can see that you haven't done what I told you to do," he continued to Porfiri after an inspection of the animal's belly. "You have quite forgotten to brush him." "I did brush him," protested Porfiri. "Then where did these fleas come from?" "I cannot think. Perhaps they have leapt into his coat out of the britchka." "You liar! As a matter of fact, you have forgotten to brush him. Nevertheless, look at these ears, Chichikov. Just feel them." "Why should I? Without doing that I can see that he is well bred." "Nevertheless, catch hold of his ears and feel them." To humour the fellow, Chichikov did as he had requested, remarking, "Yes, he seems likely to turn out well." "And feel the coldness of his nose. Just take it in your hand." Not wishing to offend his interlocutor, Chichikov felt the puppy's nose, saying, "Some day he will have an excellent scent." "Yes, will he not? 'Tis the right sort of muzzle for that. I must say that I have long been wanting such a puppy. Porfiri, take him away again." Porfiri lifted up the puppy and bore it downstairs. "Look here, Chichikov," resumed Nozdrev, "you must come to my place. It lies only 5 versts away, and we can go there like the wind, and you can visit Sobakevitch afterwards." "Shall I or shall I not go to Nozdrev's?" reflected Chichikov. "Is he likely to prove any more useful than the rest? Well, at least he is as promising, even though he has lost so much at play. But he has a head on his shoulders, and therefore I must go carefully if I am to tackle him concerning my scheme." With that he added aloud, "Very well, I will come with you, but do not let us be long, for my time is very precious." That's right," cried Nozdrev. "Splendid, splendid! Let me embrace you." And he fell upon Chichikov's neck.